Number 1 overall, Houston against Norfolk State, I believe is what this team is. Houston, I just think that they're elite. Defensively, they're solid. Offensively, they're going to dominate inside. Outside is where it's going to be a little bit of an issue. But at the end of the day, if we look at kind of the rankings here, first in BPI, 17-1 in the conference, 1-1 versus the top 25. Everything tells you that it's Houston's way, and I'm going to go with Houston winning this one very solidly and very handily. This one is going to be a very interesting one as well. We have Iowa versus Auburn. Auburn 2-3 against the top 25. Iowa 3-2. My concern, of course, is going to come from the Big Ten. I'm just not sure that Iowa is a solid Big Ten team. They score a lot of points, but they also give up a lot of points. This is going to be a team where if you can get offensively, the younger brother of Keegan Murray, I believe Chris Murray is his name, get him going, I think you could have some solid situations. You got McCaffrey there as well. I just think that this is just something where, to me, Iowa, I want to go against the Big Ten. I really do. But something's telling me that Iowa's going to win this game. They score a lot of points compared to Auburn. I'm going to go with Iowa. Gut tells me that they'll be okay. They just need to be offensively efficient for Iowa. If they are, they're going to win this game. But again, I'm not so sure about it. And the other thing, too, that we need to know about Auburn, they finished 3-8 in the season. Early exit from the SEC tournament. That kind of goes to tell you that this team might be spent. And so I have them losing this game. Let's go to Miami versus Drake. I got Miami winning this game. BPI 36 versus 55. 3-1 against the top 25. Drake with 1 win against the top 25. They score a lot of points. They may give up a lot of points. And I just think, again, it's going to be one of those interesting situations. If we look at kind of the facts that ESPN gives us here, Drake is led by an experienced 5 whose average age is over 23 years old. The youngest of them is 20-year-old Tugger DeVries, a dangerous shooter at 39% from 3, who has the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year. The Bulldogs take good care of the ball thanks to point guard Roman Penn, who is nearly a 3-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. That's obviously going to be a great thing to see. And again, Drake could potentially be a bracket buster, as this thing goes on to say. But as Miami, it says Isaiah Wong helped the team on a nice run last season. He's back at it again this season, this time as a true threat from distance. The lack of size on this roster makes the Hurricanes vulnerable on the defensive end, but a few offenses are this consistent and gives them the ability to compete with the best teams in the nation, as they are number 1 in KPOM. I mean, give me Miami. I think Miami wins this game. They could be in a little bit of trouble moving forward, but I just think Miami's going to be able to do it. And so we'll see what happens from here on out. Let me know if you guys think that Drake could potentially be an upset for the Miami Hurricanes. Indiana versus Kent. This is a potential upset game. I think Kent is a very good team that has played some top teams very tight, notably the Gonzaga Bulldogs. They played it very tight. Indiana's in the top 50 for KPOM offensive and defensive. I know that the Golden Flashes are undersized a little bit, but to me, what could potentially be an X factor for them is the fact that they have a very experienced guard in Sinceri Carey. Hopefully I pronounced that name right. I'm sorry if I just butchered that. Sinceri Carey averaging about 18 points per game. To me, when you have a guard that averages that much compared to Indiana, who has a very good big and guard, but they're very inexperienced. And I think that's going to get them in a little bit of trouble. And that's why I got Indiana losing, and I got Kent State pulling up the upset there and winning that game against Indiana. Iowa State versus either Mississippi State or Pittsburgh. Again, one of the stronger defensive teams in the nation. I just think that when we look at it, they're 9-5 versus top 25. Again, they played in a very tough conference. Not scoring a lot of points is kind of their big issue, and that could potentially be trouble for them, especially depending on if it's Mississippi State or Pittsburgh. That could be a game that could potentially be a flip-flop for me. I am going to put Iowa State in there for now, but I need to see what team is going to come out of that, because if it's I feel like if it's Pitt, I think they might have a shot, but Mississippi State could be a little bit of an issue. Again, I need to watch those two teams as they play the game, so I will be monitoring that situation as it pertains to who I'm going to pick in that game. But for now, I got Iowa State. Xavier versus Ken. I mean, to me, this kind of goes to show that I think Xavier's going to win this game. I think the problem with them is that they're, again, they're the one of the most experienced teams as the Musketeers are, but defensively, I think is one of their bigger issues. Again, they give up 74 points a game. That tells you that they're susceptible to getting, bleeding points that they shouldn't be. BPI, they're 21st. They're 15-5 in conference. They score a lot of points. I don't necessarily see an upset here. I got Xavier winning this game and going against either Iowa State, Mississippi State, or Pittsburgh in that matchup. Texas A&M versus Penn State. I think Penn State is a surprising team to a lot of people because of the run that they made. I think Texas A&M is another surprising team, and why I don't think they should have been a higher seed is crazy to me. They made such a big run in the tournament. I'm very surprised and also confused at this situation. Again, offensively, they're not the strongest team. I think that they struggled mightily against Alabama, and that just might be because Alabama's such a great defensive team. But my concern would also be that Penn State has had a really big run in the tournament, and they are a very 3-point heavy set team. Like, they will really look to shoot the three. That's their biggest strength for this team. I'm going to go with Texas A&M. I trust the Aggies a little bit more. I think they're going to make a couple big plays, especially with the way that this team likes to take charges. I think that that's going to be a huge X factor for them. And to me, why I think that Texas A&M will win this game and why I think that they could potentially make a big run depending on how things go for them and what matchups they get. Texas versus Colgate. I think Texas is another big winner that a lot of people are picking to go far in their tournament, especially the Final Four. That's kind of what I've been seeing. That's what I kind of been hearing. And so to me, when I look at Texas versus Colgate, I always want to pick Colgate because as a coach, I got introduced to them by our head coach, watched their film, love the stuff that they run. Unfortunately, every year I pick them, every year that happens, they continuously lose. And I just think it's just the tough matchup that they get up against. I love the stuff that they run. I think they are coached awesomely. I think this year they went 31-3, I believe, or 26-8. Not as strong. They lost to their only top 25 team. 17-1 in conference, but I got to go with the Hook'em Horns. I just don't necessarily see Colgate winning this game. Again, if they could get matched up and get a little bit of a higher seed, I think they have a chance, but we'll see what happens in the near future. Again, Colgate, really good team. Love their stuff offensively. Unfortunately, they just don't have the matchup that they need in order to win these games. And then moving back here, Houston versus Iowa. Definitely got Houston winning that game. And then we got Miami versus Kent. I got Miami winning this. Xavier versus any of these teams, give me Xavier. And then Texas A&M versus Texas could be a potentially interesting game. I think both of these teams kind of match up pretty well. Texas A&M is 4-1 against top 25 teams, whereas Texas is 9-6. I know that might be skewed because they play in the Big 12. Sorry, they play in the Big 12 versus SEC. Not as many top schools in the SEC, especially it might be early in the season. SEC is tough compared to Texas, where the Big 10 or Big 12 was consistently the best conference by far none. This is a toss-up. My heart is telling me Texas A&M. Head is telling me Texas. I'm going to go with Texas winning this game and moving on to the next round. I got Houston versus Texas. And again, this is a Lone Star State affair. Both these teams are very solid. Again, both these teams are going to play very well. But to me, Houston runs a great program. I got to go with them in the Final Four. Give me Houston in this bracket and part of the region. Let me know if I got that right. Let me know if I got that wrong. Houston winning it. Texas A&M could potentially make a sneaky dark horse to kind of at least make it to the Elite Eight. but they're going to need a lot of things to go right for them, and especially against Texas. Could potentially happen, but I don't necessarily see that happening. And so for me, I got Houston winning this, and so that is who I'm going to pick for this part of the region in the Midwest. Let me know in the comment section down below. What am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know.